Welcome CSC103 to exercise 3 dog soccer, where you're actually going to use Photopea, do some image editing, and composite a dog on top of a soccer goal and remove the background or silhouette the dog. And I'll show you how to do that with a raster mask, and we're going to do that in Photopea. And here's an example of the finished product right here. This is what it's going to look like. And basically the dog is going to be transparent all around it if I remove him, and I'll remove this shadow too, and that's what you're going to have. So we're going to put a dog on top of the soccer goal. Now initially he's going to have a background, and we're going to remove the background with a mask. So I'll show you how to do all of that. I'm going to close this up right now. I'm in Photopea, and I'll keep that tab open, and I'm going to go to coursework, and I'm going to click on this link to find images. And I'll show you 2 ways to do it in case you have any issues. If you're on a Chromebook and you have any issues copying and pasting images. So I'll do it 2 ways in the first video, and then in the second video it'll just be all the editing in Photopea. So I'm going to click on this and open it up. Also, remember that if you go to Documents and Resources, I will have notes that explain some of this. And here's the dog soccer. Now this is the older one right now because as I'm recording this, I haven't updated the notes. So these are the fall notes, so this will be updated, but you could have PDF notes to look at if you like that. Some people don't look at this and just watch the videos, but I'll have the notes updated. So that's where you can find your notes for that if you need to. So anyway, I don't have to go through the notes right now. I'm going to go here. Now remember, you need to open these up in order to copy them or to download them. We're going to use 2 images. Here's the dog, and here's the soccer goal, and we're going to bring them into Photopea. And you could do it 2 ways. I'll show you 2 ways here, and I'll do the 2 things at the same time. I'm going to go here to Photopea. Hopefully you can do this. You can click on the soccer goal. Do the soccer goal first because that'll be on the background. And then just right click and copy image. And hopefully you can do that. Some people have issues on a Chromebook, and if you can't do it on a Chromebook, you can right click and do save image as and just save soccer goal down to your downloads. So I'll do both things at the same time right now. But hopefully you could just copy your image and then go to Photopea and make a new project, and it'll be the size that you copied, and just hit create, and I'm just going to paste it. So there's the soccer goal, and when you paste it, it gets pasted as layer 1 on top of a background. I just want to point that out. And then what you can do, again, if you're not on a Chromebook, if you're not having any issues, you can go here and just hit the back button that's in Google Photos here and find the dog and click on the dog. Don't right click. Click on the dog so you see only the dog, and then right click and do copy image, and then go back to Photopea, and you can do edit paste, or you could do Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac. Either way, you're going to paste it. Now right now this dog is bigger than the background, and what you could do is zoom out. I'll do Control minus, and if you don't see this bounding box going around it, click on Transform Controls. So, and also make sure Auto Select is on so it'll click that layer, but Transform Controls. And new in Photopea is that you don't have to hold Shift to keep it in proportion. You just grab on the corner and it will stay in proportion, meaning it won't stretch it out, so you don't have to hold Shift. So I'm just going to scale this until it fits a little bit inside the window so I don't have anything outside the window. And then you can still move it around. But after you move it, you should hit enter. That usually okays the scale. So if you're ever scaling it, a layer, if you're ever resizing a layer, you should always hit enter when you're done because it won't let you do anything else. So that's how you're going to start in here. And then what you should do is double click on this and give it a name. Call it 3-soccer dog because you have soccer and the dog, and just hit OK. And it'll say 3soccerdog.psd. Now that's not saved to your computer yet. So that's just the name of it. So you want to go File, Save as PSD. That will make sure that it saves it with these layers. And you'll go Save as PSD, and you could just save it to your downloads. That's fine. It's 3soccerdogpsd, and I'll hit save. That way, if you have to do something else, you can close it up and you could come back and open it up again. You could always open from computer. So it'll save as you go. So as you make changes, you could just go File, Save as you work here. So it's really nice that you can do that. And you can also name these layers. If you want to name this dog, I just double clicked on the layer name. I called that dog, and I'll call this goal. And you're ready to go. So what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to silhouette this and put a mask on it so that we don't see the background, and then we're going to edit the mask so it looks nice and natural, and we'll lighten up the dog a little bit and we'll put on a shadow. So we're going to do all that in part 2 of the video. Now what I want to show right now for anybody who has a Chromebook, if you have any issues copying and pasting, I'll show you a different method of doing that, and I'll even just close this up right now. So I'll save this, I'll close it up. If you didn't have any problems doing this, move on to the next video, move on to the part 2 video. But if you're on a Chromebook and you couldn't copy and paste from here, you tried to copy and paste and it didn't work, just download them. And you can download over here too. If you have any issue right-clicking, you could just download the images and download them to your downloads on your computer, and then we'll open them up and I'll show you what to do next. So the next part of this is kind of if you're using a Chromebook or having any issues copying and pasting. So I'm going to go back to Photopea and I'm going to close this up. I'll open this up again. And again, I already downloaded the soccer goal one, but if you want to download this, let's say you couldn't copy, you could just download this and just go download. And it's called dog soccer ball, and I think I have dog soccer goal. So I have those 2 images on my computer. Now how do I open them up in Photopea? Well, I'm going to go to Photopea and I'm going to open from computer, and I'll open up soccer goal. There it is, I'll open it. And it'll show up as a background. So you won't have that background and then a layer on top. And then what I can do is I could go to File, Open and Place, and open up soccer ball, dog soccer ball, that guy. With the background, there's like a living room or behind him or whatever. You're going to open up and place. So I'll do that. And it's almost like pasting it. It'll put it on a second layer here. And you could scale it just a little bit and move it around. Now the thing here is it has a little icon here, this little smart filter thing. What I'd like you to do to get rid of that is if you can right click on here, I have to use 2 fingers on a Mac, but if you could right click and just use rasterize, change that to rasterize so that goes away, that little icon goes away. It's very important you do that. So you rasterize it, or I think you could go layer rasterize. If you couldn't do that for whatever reason, be on this layer and go layer rasterize. Now it's grayed out because I already did it, but make sure you do that. Make sure you rasterize the layer first if you have that little icon there if you did an open in place. And what you're going to do next is save this. Now this is called soccer goal. Let's just double click on here and change the name, and we'll call it 3-soccer dog. And I'm just going to put CB for Chromebook because this method might work better on a Chromebook. And you don't have to do .psd. You don't have to put .psd. It'll do it automatically, so I'll just hit OK. But what you'll still have to do if you're working on a Chromebook is go File, Save as PSD, and you should be able to save it right down to your downloads. Hopefully you can do that. It'll put it there. If you have any issues with that, let me know what else you can do, but that way it'll save that down to your downloads. So I'll do that. And at this point, this is the Chromebook version and the other version that I have. At this point, we're going to move on to part 2 of the video because part 2 of the video will be done exactly the same way. So we'll be doing the same thing, whether we are working on this one with the Chromebook or whether I open up the other one that I used, the first one. You can see they're both the same. So the Chromebook version and this, it's just the way we got there is a little bit different. So in part 2, what we're going to do is we're going to make a selection around here, and then we're going to make a raster mask, which in Photoshop it's called a layer mask, and it'll basically hide parts of the layer. Now you might say, well, couldn't I just erase everything? Yeah, you could, but this will be a little bit easier, and then if you screw up, you have a way to go back and do that. So in part 2 of this video, we're going to actually make the mask. So whether you're using the Chromebook version where you actually had to open one image and then do an open in place, or you were able to just copy and paste these right from here, the next steps in part 2 of the video should be the same. So I don't need this anymore. I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to be working in here. So whichever one I work on, I'll just work on the Chromebook version. And now the Chromebook version just has dog soccer ball, and it has background. Now on the version where you copy and paste, it has goal, dog, and it's over top of a background. So either way is okay, because we're only going to be working on the dog layer to make a mask on there. So whatever one works. So I'm going to close up one of these and keep one open, and then in part 2 I'll show you how to do this.